Episode 10, we made it, and to celebrate, we have two creators with us today. One of them is Hayley, the other is Kyle, and together they make up the Hayley and Kyle YouTube channel. With nearly 1 million views and over 8,000 subscribers, they explore the great outdoors with their little dog Raisin in tow. Hayley and Kyle, welcome to the channel.
Thank you very much.
You seemed a bit surprised then when it said nearly 1 million views.
Well, I was surprised that you knew that metric, to be honest. Because you keep telling me, don't you? Like, you keep counting down, like, we're nearly there.
Yeah. If I was that close, I'd be checking every day. I guess we need to thank Tom Topics as well while we're at it for reminding you guys. So thanks for that, Harrison. To kick off then, how would you describe your channel to someone that's never seen it before?
Well, I think you did a pretty good job of explaining it, but by and large, we get out in the great outdoors and we try and share the great outdoors with our subscribers. Predominantly the Peak District, that's where we're from. That's kind of our backyard, our playground, if you will. And we do go a little bit further afield every now and then, try and explore other national parks, see what's on offer. But by and large, we try and get out, show these places, but not just sort of, show them some nice shots and, look at these hills, look how nice they look. We try and give a little bit of value to our videos as well. Hook people up with, where's parking, where's the nearest toilets, are there refreshments on, basic information.
Yeah, so you're the first YouTube couple I've spoken to then. So who convinced who to start the channel?
It was this one. We were watching other sort of YouTube channels, like other couples, for a very long time. And I think it was like during lockdown, you sort of had a little separate channel. I kind of like wanted to join in, but I wasn't too sure. And then you kind of convinced me, but why don't we set up our own channel together and do it together? So I thought, yeah, why not?
How have you found splitting the responsibility then? Is it easy to give some of it up or?
Great. Not at the start. We've been together for 11 years.
Yeah.
When you have a partner or a wife or whatever, you get to know them in that capacity only, and not many couples work together sort of professionally, So it's like quite a different dynamic. And you're right, you do need to realistically, as early as you can, assign roles, if you will, because we didn't have any arguments or anything. We've never argued as couples. We're really good. But you do need to get in early and say, right, you can do this, I'll do that. And we have, like 3 years later, kind of settled on who does what. So, it didn't happen overnight.
So how do you find working together now? Is it relatively smooth?
Yeah, I think it comes with like a lot of practice. So, it was a lot of like creative differences for us that we were like putting heads on. But I think we kind of got used to like the way we both work together and what works and what doesn't work. So it just give it time, and eventually you'll get into a bit of a rhythm of working things out, I guess.
One of the biggest things that I did semi early on is I started to try and plan our videos. Like we take not a script, but a physical piece of paper out that sort of paces what the episode is trying to achieve from point A to point B, and the information, bits that we want, shots we might get. That helped massively for us. Beforehand, we've tried going and filming so many times, and
having no plan, and
it just falls to bits, doesn't it? Because we don't know where we're going. We don't know. Do we go and film that? Do we go and film this? When do we do that? And
what the video?
Yeah. So I guess a bit of a top tip from us is, if you can, plan your video, write it out. If that's what you're into, and should give it a bit more structure.
Yeah, a bit of a checklist.
Yeah, you can notice that with like other channels as well. Like you really notice when people have even like a basic plan of they know where they want to start and they know where they want to finish.
Yeah.
Like it makes a world of difference compared to someone just going out and winging it.
Yeah, I mean, some people can do it. Some people can do it. I'm jealous. But we just can't. It doesn't.
Yeah, I definitely can't do that. So obviously you've been at this for quite a while then now. Was it like 3 years-ish? Have you got a favourite video that you've made so far?
I don't know if it was Genomic Quarry. That was a really cool place to go. It was in like sort of listening rooms. I think it was just because of like how different it was to like obviously strict, and it was just like slate, and there was like lots of little trails that you could kind of walk in and around, and the views there were just amazing.
It's a very, very varied spot for anyone looking to visit. Lots of variety, lots for people of all abilities and ages as well. I think we do like variety.
Yeah. And it was like a new thing for us both to see, so it was nice. It's kind of nice to like see something new for the first time together, and you both have that enthusiasm of like, yeah, let's get this video out and it. But, yeah.
I think for me, if I can jump on with my own, is probably when we went to Iceland. That was obviously brand new to both of us. A bit of a dream trip for both of us. So it was an odd vibe because the daylight in Iceland in the winter is so limited. To get about 3 or 4 hours sunlight, that's it. We knew that we had like this almost pressure to get the video done, which kind of forced us to do it. But every spot was completely brand new and mind-blowing to us. So the enthusiasm that you see in those videos is obviously completely genuine. Our little brains are just exploding with these amazing mountains and views and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think for me, our Iceland trip was a big one.
I imagine that's quite busy as well, but we'll touch on that in a bit.
Yeah.
Before that then, is there any video that you 100% absolutely would not do again?
For me, I don't know if you've seen it, but we did a video on a very nice train. It's down in a place called Roseley.
Yeah.
I kept calling it Rowsley. That's a bit contended. Don't get the locals angry on that. And for me, I would much rather be out in the moors, the hills, the mountains. I can scream at the camera if I want to with great confidence. Put me on a very quiet and intimate train setting where all you can hear is the cutlery jinkling as it goes down the track. I just kind of lose it a little bit. Still don't like vlogging in front of people. I know you've spoken to Harrison about this. He's completely different. He can just do it. It does not bother him. And my hat is off to him. But for me, I just can't do it.
It does seem like some kind of superhuman skill, doesn't it? Like I could never like just plonk up a camera at a tourist destination and just start chatting.
Yeah.
No, it's just one of those things. I think you got to do it for like, it's getting the practice in doing that and getting comfortable with doing it. I guess the advice would be like see it as a job. But
yeah, that's something that we heard actually for people that struggle with that. people have said to us, if you see it almost, because a lot of people aren't full-time creators. This isn't our day job. We do have day jobs, but people have said if you treat this as your day job, like here you're on a mission, you've got a job to do, you've got to get these shots. It kind of encourages you to do it. Maybe I'm slowly getting there. But yeah, it's worth considering.
With that train one, then, how did you find it in the end? Was it as bad as you thought it was going to be?
I was trying to give you a bit of encouragement. I was like, "Oh, this is really nice."
You helped me massively on that.
Trying to get you confident there.
I think my issue with it was that it's a very timed experience, and it's not actually a very long experience either. It's sort of there and back, and then that's it. So there's that added time pressure of you've got to get this done. The train's going to come back into the platform at some point, and that's it. That's your shot gone, and it cost us like 80 quid, didn't it, I think?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't cheap to do, but it was like a nice little experience to do. So,
yeah, we both eventually settled into the pace of it, enjoyed it a lot more. Just, I think, on every video that we do, we have like this settling in period where the first 40 minutes to an hour, you're still kind of half asleep. When we go out early in the morning, try and film something, it's just not falling out of your mouth as nicely as you want it to. So it takes a while, doesn't it, to get into it.
Warm up.
Yeah, that is really like chucking yourself in at the deep end for I'm just going to put myself in a metal box with a bunch of strangers.
Yeah.
Start vlogging. So I've seen that you have done a couple of brand deals as well in like one or two of the videos. I think it was like outdoor trousers, or I think it was.
Yeah.
Are there any like North Star brands that you'd like really want to work with in the future?
Oh no!
This is our opportunity.
Oh, I felt like there was, we booked a year experience. Well, no, it was just an Airbnb. And we stayed in the year overnight, and we like made a little video about it. And we really enjoyed it. Apart from like, I think we had a storm that night. That was like the only thing that we probably didn't enjoy. But we made like a little video. We thought, oh, we'll send it to the people of the Airbnb.
Mm.
And they watched it, and they actually invited us back to stay at their sort of. They've got like
the new cottage.
yeah, they've got a little cottage, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to do some like what is it, axe throwing and foraging?" And we've got like a spa, and I was like, "Yes, of course I want to do that." So like anything like that, I'm like up for like experience wise.
We were like, we've made it. We're getting free stuff now.
That was really amazing. I was like, "Oh my god, we've hit the jackpot with that." But it was yeah, I really enjoyed doing those sort of things rather than like you know, materialistic.
Right.
So receiving.
you like experience.
Yeah.
The trousers that you mentioned were called Revolution Race, and I think I can't remember if we reached out to them. They were quite easy to work with. We've also done one with a company called Y Food, which is kind of like, I don't know if you've seen Fuel. It's it's kind of like an all-in-one nutrition supplement. And that's something that I was taking anyway. And I genuinely liked. And I think that's important if you are ever going to do something like that. It really comes across a lot better if you were already using the product.
Yeah.
But any brands like that, I would happily work with again. Outdoor brands, if we're going to go shoot for the stars, North Face or the big outdoor brands, I don't think we'd have a problem putting something together for them.
Yeah. Are there any like popular brands that work with like your niche already, like that you see on other creators' videos?
That's a good question.
I imagine it strikes me as like a Epidemic Sound type of videos, aren't they?
Well, yeah. We do have a link in our description. I could click on that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of the other YouTubers that we watch directly in our niche are sort of like similar channel sizes to us and like locals and stuff. I don't think
I've seen like this a brand called One Wind, and they're more like I think they do sort of like wild camping sort of equipment. But yeah, I don't really.
Gonna look really bad now.
No, are there any creators then that you look up to in your space? Any that you think, I want to be like that one day? I want to be that level?
Yeah, I really enjoy watching. There's a couple called Eamon and Beck, and they started off as more of a travel channel, and so they did a bit of that, and then they did a bit of van life stuff, and then they ended up kind of building their own cabin on a lake, and thought that was really cool.
Yeah, when we first moved out together and lived in our first little flat, I imagine like many people, we didn't have TV license. We didn't need. We never really watched regular television, so it was never anything that we wanted to buy, and we just would watch YouTube. As soon as we got internet, YouTube was more than enough and regularly updated. So there was a lot of travel couples that influenced us quite early on. One of the big ones for us is an Australian travel couple called Flying the Nest. We met them recently at a book signing in London. Lovely little young family. That's basically our dream. They're way up in over millions of subscribers now. They've done incredibly well. They travel the world together. And a lot of the travel couples that we watch are all similar. They're either based in sort of like Canada or America. we've watched them kind of since the very early days,
Yeah.
and watched their trajectory just shoot for the stars. And I think that's kind of what we would like to do, going forward into the long run.
Yeah, it is good when you can see like not just one other creator doing like blazing the trail. You can actually see lots of creators actually going that way that you want to go. It makes it feel more achievable as well. You've actually got something realistic to aim for that you've seen other people do.
Yeah.
But that does bring us to the second part of the podcast, which is going to dive into more of how you deal with the YouTube side of things with 10 specific YouTube questions. So the first one, out of creating a thumbnail, writing a title or filming, which do you spend the most time on?
Filming, thumbnail, title.
That's the order.
Definitely.
Filming does take ages.
Filming days for us is these days anywhere between, I think, 4 to 8 hours sometimes. You wouldn't believe it for a 20-minute video, but it's taken that long before. So up there is filming. Thumbnails, I wasn't too bothered about a few years ago. Nowadays, I've literally created sheets of them, all of them just with slightly different, but I'm on the left, Hayley's on the right, and then I'll switch them or change the font, and until something stands out and go, right, that's the one. Probably thumbnails next. And then the title, I do put a lot of effort into. I do a lot of research. I'll see other channels and other videos that have been done sort of in a similar area, and then pick something around that. So probably titles are at the top.
Yeah, I can't wait for YouTube to release. They're doing A/B testing for thumbnails. I think it's coming later this year, so you can upload 3 thumbnails and it'll tell you which one's performing the best and then stick with that one. That'll be a bit of not a lifesaver, but it takes a bit of a weight off. You got 3 ideas, just chuck them all up. So how often do you check YouTube Studio?
I probably check it probably not as much as I used to, because obviously going through pregnancy at the minute, it's just not really been my priority.
Yeah.
But I'd say on a weekly basis, 3-4 days a week.
Who checks it the most out of you? Yeah.
It when it's fresh and it's new and it's exciting, and it still is. You're just constantly on it.
Yeah.
I know Mr. Tom Topics, for example, he just doesn't touch it at all. He's completely on the other end of the spectrum.
I enjoy seeing what works, what doesn't work, and just I guess you can compare, because it gives you your top 10, doesn't it? So
yeah,
just to how well your videos do, and I guess in a way that can be a bad thing, because you can get yourself into a bit of a mood if it doesn't work out. But
no, I posted a video today. It's my first 10 out of 10 in a long while, so it's humbling. But no, I spoke. Yeah, these. So the first interview I did on this channel, he's got 250,000 subscribers. Never checks YouTube Studio. I was like, I don't know how you do it. So if you had to start again but pick a different niche, what would it be, and what kind of content would you make?
I think I would probably pick something a little bit more laid back, something slightly less involved. The first YouTube channel I made and put effort towards was more about sort of chill out and ambience, and I used to go out into the Peak District and just sort of film videos of nature. I was not part of it. I was behind the camera. Like those sort of 2 hours of a woodland stream, or that kind of video. That was a lot less effort while still being enjoyable. And I actually recently started another channel which is on a similar theme, but it's sort of like digitally created environments instead of actually going out somewhere, which is even less effort, and I just plug a load of sound into it, like from that sound. So I would pick something. I guess I already have picked something like.
I think for me, I would probably say, I think it was during lockdown, I was sort of getting into my arts and crafts, and I started to create little resin coasters and I just really enjoyed making them. So I think if it was anything, it'd be something like that. We just don't have like the space to kind of have like a,
Full-fledged
yeah.
studio.
I think I need a bit of a workshop to have that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing with YouTube, isn't it? It has to sort of fit around your life to start with before it gets any bigger. Like, I know you can't tell, but I'm actually in the corner of a bedroom. So this isn't a proper studio.
We did that for a bit. We had a little studio set up upstairs for a little bit.
I was doing my resin upstairs for it, during lockdown. That's why I've stopped doing it, because there's no like air circulation up there. There's no so yeah.
You don't need a great big room, do you? As long as you can get a nice little setup behind you. A few LED uplighters, as I see you've got. You're well on your way, aren't you?
Yeah, that's actually one giant floodlight that I got out the garage. It's just got gels over it. Yeah. So have you been recognised from the work that you've done on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah.
with increasing frequency. That's another double-edged sword, really.
The Peter stuff is quite a small place, really, when you look at it on a map. And the places that we have been recognised in have always been sort of like in those hotspot areas where a lot of people go to. And like, I think it was probably Gore. We got spotted a couple times there, but
everyone to start with who approaches us are lovely, and they're just like, hi, we've watched you for a while or whatever, and everyone's got their own little story, and it's great to genuinely put names to faces. And normally we do meet people like when we're out filming ourselves, people approach us and stuff, and it's lovely. It's the times when you're in the middle of Aldi and you're putting your toilet paper through, and someone's like, "Oh, I've seen you," and you're like, "Oh." And that's happened to us as well. I think even a cashier now was watching. But yeah, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Yeah.
So how long ago was it when I suppose we'll answer this separately. How long ago was it when you uploaded your first video? So Kyle, you've mentioned you had one a little bit earlier.
4 or 5 years ago, if that's what counts, with a goal in mind, and as far as
yeah,
what about yourself, Hayley?
I did a bit of a course at uni. My uni course was moving image, and we had set up our own YouTube channels to kind of put our work on there. I think that was the first time I put anything on. It might have been 2010. Yeah, that was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Got access to that anymore, so.
Is there any advice that you'd give yourself? So you now, what advice would you give yourself back then in terms of YouTube?
I would actually say, don't sweat the small stuff. I think when you start something fresh, it's exciting, it's this new thing in your life, and you can see that it's going well and it's growing. Those worries start to come in, like, oh, people are actually watching this stuff now. I should probably try my very best to make this as best as it possibly can be. And I've spent hours sat at the desk until very late, sweating over the small stuff, which at the end of the day, I'm probably the only guy that's going to notice in the edit. So I think if you'd asked me years ago, I would say, everything has to be just so. But now my opinion on that's changed a lot. I think getting something done out rather than perfect is the better scenario.
Yeah, no one's putting pressure on you. You're only putting pressure on yourself. Like, it's when you started it because it was fun. So the longer you can keep the fun aspect of it going, it just takes a bit of the stress off. There's always going to be some stress with it because there is people not that they rely on the content, but they're expecting the content to come out and you don't want to disappoint them. But as long as you can keep it fun for yourself, you're sort of winning in the long run then.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of agreed on, like, especially in the last year, is to, like, do stuff that we both want to do. And so we created, like, this little list of things that we want to do rather than, like, what's going to be best for the channel. And we I think we ticked off a lot of the things on that list. So
I think once the channel started to do well and we saw that people were resonating with a certain type of video, there's then sort of that feeling of that audience expectation of that's okay, so that's done really well. The numbers are saying, it's a 1 out of 10 or whatever, or 10 out of 10. And YouTube is saying, do more of this. But that does put pressure on you because you might have a passion project or something that, like we've both said, like you said, if we're going to do something, we need to first of all enjoy doing. So that's just been a much bigger focus for us now, and will continue to be.
Yeah, I feel like YouTube puts, like, no matter what the niche, YouTube wants you to put out like a top 5 places, a top 10 of this kind of video, 10 things to remember when you go into this place. But you can't just make them forever. It just gets really boring.
It's not really, it's, like you said, it's boring to kind of like make those things because they're not really like, you're not showing your own experience for the first time. They're usually like compilation of like footage that you've accumulated over the years.
Yeah. So I guess, you're right. The first rule is have fun with it. Make sure it's something you actually want to do. And that will resonate, come across genuinely.
So why did you start this channel then? What was the catalyst behind the Hayley and Kyle channel?
Couple things. Probably, well, we're one of those lockdown projects to start with. We made the mistake of making an outdoor YouTube channel whilst the country was being told to stay at home, which was fun. And actually, that's our origin story for our top 10 peak history. It's exactly the way you said, compilation drone footage that I can have already. In no way does that necessarily mean that is our top 10, and that list will have definitely changed now dramatically.
Yeah, I imagine if you're locked down, it's kind of like, these are the top 10 places I could find on Google.
Well, basically. But I had some health issues that affected us both mentally, and it changed the way that we thought about everything. I guess before that happened, I'd felt that I was kind of zombieing through life, not really ever reaching to achieve anything. So we realised basically life is short. You go through life, don't you, through journeys, and you have realizations, and that's kind of what happened to us. And I think the rest is history.
Yeah, it's not nice when you're kind of scared into like big changes like that. But sometimes, like, I'm not going to say like you need it, but it can be good for you in the long run. Like, you wouldn't be where you are now. You wouldn't have like the outlook and the mindset that you've got now. So, yeah, it's never nice, and it's terrible a lot of the time. But if you can get through it, like you still got like friends and family around you, then that's like a good place to be.
Yeah.
Strange going from that to this question. So, what would you rate your videos out of 10?
For me, I think it was probably 6 or 7.
I think that's an interesting thing, really. You don't know what you've got until you come back, stick it into editor of choice. And that's kind of the beauty of video, is you can go out, you can have actually a really bad day in the field. You might not be feeling it at all. It could be horrendous. Things could be going wrong. You can come back. You can stick it into an editor, pick some cleverly chosen music tracks, edit it up together nicely, and people think, "Wow, that was an incredible day." You can completely turn something around. So, yeah, I don't know. The last one we worked on was kind of I guess a bit of a run of the mill video for us, but we did go to a brand new spot that we wanted to visit, and again that leans back into us actually wanting to go somewhere for us more than anything.
Yeah.
So we had a good day.
Yeah, and it ended on a pub with pie and Joe to Rose.
It can't go wrong then.
No.
No, I like asking that question because we spend so much time letting YouTube tell us where our videos rank. It's nice to see like how you think your video's doing. Is there anything about being a creator that's kind of surprised you or caught you off guard?
Yeah.
I think for me, it would be like the mental aspect of it. Going back to talking about the YouTube ranking system, I think that does get to people. Some people get into YouTube just saying, it's another 8 out of 10 or another 9 out of 10, and what am I doing wrong? And I think it's very easy to forget, why you ever started. Actually, you should just be enjoying this. So we've both been guilty of sort of being a little disheartened when videos just, because often as well, it's always the ones that you've put a lot of effort into, or it's like a passion project for you, but for some reason it doesn't really resonate with your subscribers, or YouTube doesn't really pick it up, so you don't get the same numbers as perhaps you were expecting. And I think it's natural to feel let down by that. So I think for me, probably, the mental health aspect of it, slowly learning to protect our mental health through it, and just
trying to see that, like, although sometimes you'll get like a good run of like 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, you've got to also expect that at some point you are going to get like the 10, the 9, the 8. And that's something that we have to like keep reminding ourselves when we do put a video out is, they're not all going to be bangers, even though you want them to be. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, when I have a bad video now, I've started to go into this. I just do myself 1, 2, maybe 3 like really selfish videos. I'm making a video that I really want to make. Doesn't matter if it does well, and I go into it with that mentality as well. As I don't care if it does well on YouTube, and I do a couple of them, and normally by the third one, it starts getting views again. So, have you set yourself any goals for the next 12 months?
Become parents. Get much bigger than YouTube-wise, probably not, if I'm honest. With the past 3 years have been very structured for us, and we have set goals, and we have said, we want to make these videos, this many videos. And we've kind of taken a little bit of a step back from it. We've said no to the schedule. For 3 years straight, we've been uploading 1 video every 2 weeks, which I know in the regular YouTube stage probably isn't that great.
Yeah, and it's a lot different than, there's a lot of niches which are like sat behind a desk, like I'm sat behind a desk now. Got to be really easy to put out a video a week, but actually going out and going to places is going to be tough anyway to get a video out every 2 weeks. So yeah, I can't believe you managed to do it for so long.
It's tough. It's hard going. I think people like us and sort of smaller creators that aren't doing it full time, I think we have the harder time with it because we've got other commitments. When we first started, we'd look up at other travel couples and they're spitting out videos every week, and thought, well, we'll do that. And we tried to do that, and soon, very quickly, realised that's impossible with a 9-to-5 job and just life.
And an afternoon just to rest. Like, you got to chill out at some point as well.
Yeah.
But that was the last question. So thank you very much. I'm going to link your channel down in the description. Are there any other socials that you want to give a shout out to?
We've got about Tom topics, haven't we? I want to personally say thank you to Harrison, because I know that we've messaged together in the past, but Harrison sort of put you back onto our radar, and we probably wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Harrison.
Tom, subscribe to Tom Topics.
There we go. And before I let you go, are there any other creators in the UK or Ireland you think I should try get on?
Oh, King in it. But very good channel.
Yeah, well, bit of a mad Welsh couple. They've been doing it for like 10 years, 12 years, since they were sort of kids. Big on Wales, they travel the world, and they've recently bought a cottage in Scotland.
Well, there's no harm in messaging them. They can only say no, so I'll give it a go.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, thank you very much.